Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, November 9, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at what the U.S. National Hurricane Center is showing on their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that area across the southern Caribbean that we've been seeing on the models, they have finally highlighted the southern Caribbean, that area right there to the south and west of Jamaica. They're giving it a code yellow, so it's on the low chance scale of tropical cyclone formation within the next 7 days. A 20% chance actually. It states here a broad airflow pressure could form in the southwestern Caribbean Sea by the middle of next week. Some gradual development of the system is possible thereafter as it meanders over the southwestern Caribbean Sea. It's gonna be meandering, so it's not gonna be in a hurry to go anywhere, even although the majority of the models, the Euro and the GFS, especially the GFS, has been taking this system northward, even close to Jamaica or over Jamaica. If we take a look at what the 12Z, the midday today run of the Euro model, has been showing, yes, we're looking at the next 7 days, just like what the Hurricane Center would do. That's the next 168 hours, as we can see by the time period right here at the top. Now we're at 66 hours and we start to see a lot of greens that represent moisture across the southern Caribbean, right where that area has been highlighted. Going out to about 168 hours now, we still see much of the same with all of that moisture across the southern and western Caribbean. Definitely trying to get its act together, but nothing within the next 7 days on the Euro trying to consolidate, nothing trying to form, even though we're starting to see the red L that represents maybe some kind of low pressure starting to form. The GFS has been consistent, and we're going to be taking a look at two of the model runs from the GFS. So first, we're going to be looking at the 12Z run of the GFS. That's from today, and we can see that definitely we have all of that moisture across the southern Caribbean for the next 168 hours. And we still see that it's trying to get some kind of system formed with all of the rainfall and the contour lines that represent a broad airflow pressure. And we see that by the next 7 days, that's next week Thursday, 7 a.m. actually, that 12Z, which is actually 7 a.m. Jamaica time, we do see all of that contour lines right there trying to get some kind of storm or maybe a low-end hurricane formed right there to the southwest of Jamaica. And if we would have actually went ahead some more hours, we might have seen that system trying to move towards the northeast, possibly making it closer to Jamaica. What does the 18Z model show? The 18Z is the model that came out at 6 p.m. this evening, and we do see much of the same, a lot of moisture represented by the greens, yellows. In this run, the system is a bit more closer, or much closer to Central America rather than closer to Jamaica as we saw in the other run by the next 168 hours. So we have to see exactly what unfolds. We have to take these models with a grain of salt, because especially the GFS model has been going crazy with this system, and we know these models are sometimes they're consistently showing something, and then later on they change their minds. We might see the Hurricane Center increase the chances, and then the chances start to diminish, going back down to yellow or even nothing at all. Maybe we might get some wind shear in the area that tries to destroy whatever tries to form. So when it comes to the weather, we just have to stay updated as much as we possibly can, so that we're not that drastically affected by what is predicted. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have that trough right there across portion of the southwestern Caribbean, another trough across portion of the Bahamas, and we can also see A cold front that stretches all the way from northern sections of North Atlantic all the way down to the northeast of the Caribbean, and we still have that high pressure ridge across the northeastern Atlantic, sending all of that easterly trade winds across the main development region, as well as numerous tropical high pressure ridges right there to the north of the Caribbean, sending all of that wind across the Caribbean as well. Definitely have a very strong high pressure gradient right now, which explains all the windy weather that we've been receiving today as well as tomorrow. Taking a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that trough right now about to hit Central America. Definitely a section of Honduras, Nicaragua gonna be getting some wet weather tonight into tomorrow. We can also see some amount of wet weather right there across the waters to the south of the Dominican Republic and Haiti associated with another trough. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. It was stated that we would have received especially morning rainfall across eastern Jamaica, then affecting sections of central and western parishes in Jamaica during Thursday afternoon. I don't know, eastern parishes we're talking about Kingston and St. Andrew, Portland and St. Thomas. Central parishes we're talking about St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon and St. Catherine. Western parishes we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? We saw that as early as 7:31 a.m. the visible close-up satellite images were shown, clouds coming into sections of St. Thomas and Portland, not to mention some coastal areas of some northern parishes, so definitely sections of Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary got some amount of isolated shower activity. Then, just as predicted during the afternoon hours, we had that buildup of clouds and isolated thunderstorms, especially across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. More in the way of some southern parishes, just as predicted, with all of that upper level wind shear coming in from the west-northwest. It would have been favoring more of that rainfall across the southern parishes in Jamaica, just as predicted. So we indeed had that rainfall across sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, as well as sections of St. Thomas during the afternoon, and the northern parishes, especially during the morning hours. Definitely Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne got in on some of that. And even up to recording, or close to recording hour that is, considering that it's about a little bit past 9:30 right now. So an hour ago, we indeed saw on the Cuban Doppler images that we had some amount of rainfall still coming into sections of eastern Jamaica. So definitely a section of St. Thomas, Portland, getting in on those greens and some yellows that represent moderate to even some heavy rainfall. And we even have confirmation from Dive In Discovers highlighting the rain in St. Anne today. Definitely gotten on some amount of rainfall in his area of St. Anne today by the beach. And we even had another video clip coming in from Jomar Parks highlighting the heavy rainfall in his area of northern Clarendon as well. Alright, so let us take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down. We can see where we had that easterly flow across the island for today, and the high cold cloud toss being represented right there, especially on infrared satellite images by those blues, greens, oranges, reds. So we definitely indeed had what was predicted. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images from the Cuban radar site right now, we don't have much taking place. 1 hour later, we still have some rainfall to the south of the island, to the north of the island. Lots of this rainfall passing us by at this time. And if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we do see where we indeed had that rainfall across the island today. Definitely a section to some eastern parishes, south central and southwestern parishes especially. Not to mention the northern parishes or the northeastern parishes, especially during the morning hours. So this map does indeed paint a picture of what took place across the island for today. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we still see that majority of the central and western Caribbean, including the Gulf of Mexico, are shaded in some orange colors, maybe up to 1 to 3 or even slightly 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures, for 18th on Friday, that's 1 p.m. on Friday. And we know normal temperatures for the month of November are about 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 30 degrees Celsius, so it should be receiving anywhere from 30 to even up to 34 degrees Celsius at most for Friday's temperature across Jamaica. Taking a look at the dry air map, we do see dry areas represented by the key at the bottom, the yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those reds. Majority of the Caribbean is experiencing a lot of moist air, including Jamaica, where we see all of those blues. Taking a look at the star and dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, we do see that we don't have much to worry about, especially across Jamaica. Jamaica is right there behind the word port. Don't have anything at all to worry about. You see majority of the star and dust right there across the main development region and Africa. Taking a look at the wave forecast, we do see that we indeed have some strong purples to the south of the island that represent 2-meter wave heights or more, while the northern and western portion of the island are going to be getting in on the lower wave heights, averaging close to 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's due to the fact that the winds are going to be strongest, especially on the south and the eastern portion of the island, averaging anywhere from 20 to 25 knots, averaging let's say 10 to 20 knots at most on the north and west coast of the island. And we can see that all of that air is going to be piling up wherever we have those blues. So definitely sections of some central western parishes in Jamaica are going to be getting in on some amount of afternoon rainfall. And with the, if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast by both the Euro and the GFS models, we can see that we're definitely going to be in store for some amount of rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica. So definitely sections of St. Thomas and Portland, and we can see this is valid for 5 a.m. Jamaica time, and we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are showing the same thing. Skipping ahead to about 9 a.m. we see the Euro and the GFS models still showing the same thing. St. Thomas and Portland definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall, and when we get to about 2 p.m. we start to see a bit of a difference. Definitely a section of some eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica, and it makes more sense that majority of that afternoon rainfall is going to be across northern parishes in Jamaica, especially if we actually take a look at the wind forecast. The winds are actually making a kink kind of from the east southeast, so all of that air would be piling up across sections of more in the way of northern parishes during the afternoon hours. So it kind of makes sense based on what we're seeing right here on the GFS model in terms of the afternoon rainfall. So definitely a section of some central and western parishes, but mostly in the way of some northern parishes. So definitely a section of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, definitely a section of St. Thomas and Portland still getting in on some amount of rainfall throughout the day tomorrow. And even by about 5 p.m. we still see much of the same, especially sections of St. Thomas and Portland with all of those blues that represent rainfall. So it makes sense that the accumulated precipitation forecast, keep in mind that both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS go all the way out up until 10 p.m. on Friday, showing all the rainfall that's expected across the island during the next 24 hours. So it makes sense that eastern Jamaica has the most colors. It makes sense that when we add up the totals, both maps show the most rainfall totals across the east. So the Euro is showing up to 0.53 inch of rainfall, while the GFS is showing something similar for eastern Jamaica. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting in on that rainfall. We're in the month of November. We usually get an increase in the amount of rainfall for the entire month. Even though we're starting to wind down and jump into the dry season, so we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into our drier months. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we saw that we didn't see much happening across sections of Suriname or French Guyana today, but definitely a section of Guyana, Venezuela as usual, Colombia, section of Panama, Costa Rica, section of the Leeward Islands, anywhere from St. Martin, St. Kitts, US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti got in on some amount of rainfall. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images right now of the northeastern Caribbean, we do indeed see where we have some hit or miss showers, some isolated spots getting in on some amount of rainfall anywhere from Guadeloupe northwards, so sections of Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin, St. Kitts, sections of the US and British Virgin Islands, northern Puerto Rico getting in on some amount of rainfall right now. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we don't see much widespread rainfall, just some isolated hit or miss showers passing to the north and south of Barbados, definitely heading into sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago right now. And if we take a look at a wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that we don't have much taking place across wherever we have the radar sites. So the ABC Islands are clear for the most part, section of Belize as well as the Bahamas and Florida. However, as it relates to the temperature forecast, we do see more and more of some slightly above normal temperatures across the eastern Caribbean as represented by the yellows, while we're going to be getting some 2 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures anywhere from the central Caribbean to the western Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico and off the southeastern coast of the United States. As it relates to the sarin dust for 2 p.m. on Friday, we do see that majority of the dust should be right there across the main development region closest to Africa. Wherever we have those darker shades of browns, we don't have much making it into the eastern Caribbean at all, but we do have a little. It won't even be that noticeable in the sky or to affect someone's sinusitis or anything like that. Taking a look at the wave forecast, we do see that the central Caribbean right there to the south of Jamaica and Haiti are where the highest waves are going to be, averaging up to 2-meter wave heights or more, and that's because the winds are going to be strongest right there. The winds are represented by the yellows representing up to 25 knot winds or even more, while the greens represent the, let's say, 15 to 20 knot winds, and majority of these winds across the Caribbean are going to be coming in from the east. As it relates to the rainfall forecast now for the Caribbean, we can see the wider view now showing a lot of rainfall across sections of Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands. Just some isolated patches of rainfall for Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Martinique. But we see an increase in rainfall definitely expected for sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. And we can also see that increase in rainfall across sections of the eastern Yucatan, sections of the Belize area, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, section of Venezuela, while only some isolated showers in for sections of Guyana. Not much rainfall is stored for Suriname or French Guiana at all. I know that when both maps are showing something similar like this, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for